Right, hopefully you can see and hear me, because if you wondered why the streams got deleted yesterday, first one, the microphone didn't work properly on it. Second one, it crashed like 20 minutes in. Third one obviously wasn't very long, as it was just finishing off with a third time sort of lucky stream, that's why I deleted them. But I thought randomly I'd just call it a sword stream, because I've been getting a lot of the swords out again and practicing with them. Oh, smack myself in the face with that. That's not a very good thing to do. But yeah. All right, Frosty. Yeah, so that's just the arming sword, this one. No, it's not an Excalibur, it's just a Hanwei version of the arming swords. So, you know, regular medieval swords. The stuff at the bottom of the blade where it looks a bit weird is just where I had to glue the tang. Not the tang, but, you know, the sort of cross guard on a bit better. Because after I was using this for a bit, that started rattling loose a bit, so I had to sort of super glue that back on. All right, Rich? Yeah, so I was just messing about with a load of these earlier, but as in Claymore swords or Claymore mines, neither of either. Technically, I've got a Claymore kind of letter opener, but no, I don't have a Claymore sword. Yeah, I have to definitely go in the wash today, because I went out sort of for a bit of exercise with it today. So I definitely need a shower as soon as I end the stream, just because I feel really sort of sweaty and horrible. There's a katana on the wall. I'll get that down. I've got a saber, but it's not in this room at the moment. There's the rapier over there. The falchion as well. What you have to do is just twist this first. Then it should come off. Maybe? Or is that really? There we go. I know for some reason the katanas are the ones everybody likes the most. Oh, that's good, Rich. So yeah, there's the katana. But yeah, katana's definitely not my favourite sword, but it is nice. And Mike did a good job of resharpening this up for me, but yeah, katanas are nice and everything. It's just you know, I think they're a bit overrated as far as swords go. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of things that make you lose vitamin D. And then they fall even further down. Yeah, of all my swords, the falchion's probably my favourite. But what I definitely want to do when it's payday, if they've still got them in stock, is get one of the really nice cutlasses from Southern Swords. Yeah, it's hot at the moment, isn't it? It's that humid sort of hot, though, isn't it? And that's the problem. It's not so much the air temperature, it's the fact that humidity's high. Gas masks, Geiger counters, well, ionization chambers, packaging. As I said, this is like the last bit in the house at the moment that's not really been tidied up. So once, you know, some of the other bits in the house get a bit more organized, a lot of this crap's going to, well, not crap, it's military surplus, but, you know. Yeah, samurai samurai swords are completely legal to own, yes. As long as you get a, as long as you get a, one that's, you know, a properly made one, like the one I've got, because the ban on them was with the, like, cheap sort of steel stamp ones. Be a bit bigger greatsword. The biggest sword I've got in terms of length, innuendos away, is definitely the rapier. Yeah, I like the look of those, Rich, but sadly I don't have one. But... So yeah, this is by far the longest sword I've got. You know, this stupidly long sword, this rapier, as you can see, the difficulty of even getting it all in frame. But yeah, I'd have no use for a massively big greatsword. Yeah, my falchion's my favourite sword, and that's actually the shortest sword out of all the swords I've got. Because the falchion's only 22-inch blade, I think. Let me get the falchion and show you. Hang on. Let's pop these where they're not going to fall over. Yeah, so the falchion's my favourite. But again, that's very much a short sword, isn't it? So the idea is it's very controllable and short, rather than being, giving you a lot of reach. It's more of a proper sidearm sword than yeah, that's the falchion. When you're 18, you can buy a sword and nobody can stop you, assuming you're in a country where you can legally own a sword. Because sadly, I do know that there are countries where people legally can't even own swords. As much as people whinge about the UK being really authoritarian and you can't own this, you can't own that, there's literally nothing with swords. There's a couple of types that for some reason are banned, but most aren't. No, don't have a scimitar. Weirdly, scimitars are one of the types of sword I think fall into some sort of, more restrictions on them than other swords. Thanks, Henry. No, samurai swords are legal. The problem with samurai swords was all that stuff that came about with chavs stabbing each other with them, but with the really cheap wall hangers. So what they did with the law was they essentially made it so if you were to sell swords as like a retailer and to legally own one, they had to be proper, like forged swords, not like, not done like a stainless steel knife that's just stamped out. I think Damascus steel exists, Arnold, but it probably wasn't as it wasn't as cool as the myths. I doubt Damascus steel would split like normal other types of steel in half or anything like that. It was probably a better steel, but not, What about the falchion, James? That's perfectly legal. That's cool in Telebrite films. Richard Weaponsmith's a blacksmith on here as well. No, I've never done a 23andMe, but the funny thing about 23andMe was that on those DNA testing sites, that's how they got the original Night Stalker finally, wasn't it? Because one of his relatives did a thing and then it matched the DNA like semen sample on a dead body or something. And then that's how they finally got the bastard. Which, is a good thing, but it's sort of funny that one of your relatives does a DNA test and then that DNA is like a 99 point something percent match on a police record and they can get you from it. There's a spear there. It's not a javelin, and that's like a training spear. It doesn't have a sharp end. It's a blunt end. I don't have a Fallschirmjäger helmet, but I've got a halberd, I've got a bill hook, and I've got a glaive. And Richard Weaponsmith did the glaive and the bill hook. No, I don't know what Wow Sharo, what would be a King Arthur sword then? Yeah, I like a lot of those old pole arms, James, with all like the really cool sort of heads on them. Yeah, how's everybody else anyway? Like I said, I'm all right. Just I went for a walk earlier to get my exercise, and that was good. But it's one of those really hot, sweaty days where you don't really want to be walking about. It would be difficult hype, but it could be done. But I wouldn't want to break the night vision. That'd be the thing. Like, let's say you're doing it with Bokkens on or whatever. Yeah, you could easily smash up an expensive bit of night vision, couldn't you, if you hit the night vision? I mean, yeah, if you mean if you were you had the sword, then yeah, in theory, I guess so. But I suppose you have to be careful if you have the IR illuminator on, though. It wouldn't light up on the sword and reflect back into your night vision. No, I don't have any Scottish swords. Yeah, exactly. Night vision. Very well done, T-ville. No, it's just some fields and that, Henry. But yeah, it's nice, isn't it? That's the nice thing with going out for a walk. You know, where there's sort of trees and nature stuff rather than being in a city. I've got the cold steel gladius somewhere, but that's not actually a proper sword. It's just a machete shaped like a gladius. Not really, Jamie. That's why there's the laser sights for night vision. Because if you've got an actual night vision headset on, the bulk of that is going to get in the way of the rifle scope. That's a Y2K or a U2K G Call 04. I don't know if I've got. Yeah, there's one. Yeah, these. Yeah, like Hope said, you could have obviously a night vision scope that's a magnified scope on a rifle, but you can't really have a night vision scope on your face and then use a rifle scope. At the moment, for Shida A4s, I assume are getting close to £100. You're not going to really get them, sadly, for a good price. Yeah, that's alright, Big Slav X-Man. Don't just watch my videos on Gasmaster, watch other people's as well. If you saw the shout-out video the other day, it will give you some channels to watch. Yeah, Dane axes are cool. Big, massive axes. And of course, longbows are cool. I'm alright, White Wolf, thank you, yeah. Yeah, it gives me a bit more time to just chill and do stuff, doesn't it? Which is quite nice. So yeah, I think it'd be good as well. And it's also because, like I've said, with the massive amount of views that came from Corona, they're getting back closer to what would be normal amount of views per day for me now. So it means there's not as much incentive for me to put on extra videos because a lot of those people either aren't watching anymore or just watch occasionally. Everybody's getting distracted asking somebody if they have a TikTok or something now. Miss Valadez, I would probably just go back to doing, unless I was making enough from it, I would just go back to doing YouTube as a part-time thing. Also because it's one of those things that I think the more you do YouTube, the less fun it gets in theory. Just because it gets very monotonous. Oh, careful, Alex. You can't call a kitchen knife a weapon because don't forget, under like UK stuff, a kitchen knife isn't a weapon because you have to ban all scary knives, but not kitchen knives. We won't go into politics on this stream. It's been a nice stream so far. We don't want to derail it within 15 minutes of the stream starting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to quarantine being ended or being lifted anyway, just because at the moment, obviously, I don't like the fact, you can't really see friends and all that sort of stuff. So as long as you open carry a sword in Telebrite, it's all right, but not if it's concealed carry. It doesn't make much sense, but... Oh, you still can't go around, James, carrying a big kitchen knife on you. That would be illegal. The point is, it's just our lawmakers are very strange when they seem to think kitchen knives, even though they're used in the majority of knife crime, are somehow not used in the majority of knife crime. Ah, cool, BC. I don't actually have a Sheffield steel machete. I've got a couple of Sheffield steel knives, but not machete. Yeah, quite a quiet stream at the moment, which is all right, but... Only issue of chilling outside is the problem of mobile internet, really. Mike was on Twitch yesterday, James. Newt says, I like it this way. Yeah, I like it when it's quieter. It's just more interesting when there's engaging conversation. Yeah, White Wolf, because I was showing him earlier. That's why I called this one Sword Stream, because most of the stream early on was just me getting the swords down. Everybody always asks me to get down, and I never do. So yeah, that's the katana. Obviously, yeah, that's quite handy. But, you know, like I said, katanas are a bit overrated, really, aren't they? Because, you know, I think they have that weird mystique to them that isn't really deserved. But they're perfectly functional, really. Just, Henry says he slaughtered many innocent vegetables and fruits with your kitchen knife, you bastard. No, this is a practical one. You're not allowed wall hanger katanas in the UK. That's the weird thing. In the UK, if you get a katana, it has to be a fully functional, like, old replica style one because of the law for some reason. Yeah, it'd be very strange, Alex, wouldn't it, talking about some of the stuff, yeah. How's the audio dying, James? Because none of them are illegal, Joshua. They're all perfectly legal. You can't go and wander around outside of them. You know, I couldn't take this outside and just wander about with it, but to own in your house, they're perfectly legal. Something like that, Arnold. I don't know all that much about all the samurai and, like, ninja stuff and all that, but I do know that, yeah, they were far more of a, you know, like a dueling kind of status symbol thing, you know, where spears and bows are actual more of the proper samurai weapons. Ah, it's very cool. At the Pitt Rivers Museum, Teeville in Oxford, they've got a couple of, like, bits of samurai armor and stuff like that, but you know, I find all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's the exact thing, Hype. From cutting things, the katana is really, really easy to cut stuff up with, but the edge starts, you know, it loses its edge really quickly because the edge is so thin on the katana. What distinct mods do you mean? Like the sort of officer sort of sabers and sort of swords? What, the washing pole type one, Richard? Yeah. Do I have a claymore? No, sadly not. As said, the biggest sword I've got in terms of length is this rapier, because that is, if I put it on the ground there, so you can see it sort of standing up, as you can guess. If it comes up to you where you're there, sitting on a chair, it's pretty tall. Yeah, so the rapier is the biggest sword I've got in terms of length. But the old arming sword is the only one I've got in terms of, like, you know, retro kind of what most people think of when they think of, like, medieval European swords. That's this one, but again, that's not a long sword or you know, great sword length. It's an arming sword, so it's designed to be, you know, like the one-handed one that's used with a shield or something else. I don't think Dare's paying attention if he's asking me, do I have any blades when I'm showing a sword. I really don't know what you mean, James, because you keep spamming that and you're not giving me an answer. Yeah, that's a good price for one Hiku. I mean, it's not going to work, but it's a good price for an antique. What, the Shottle Joshua, or a different type one? Because I know they had a couple of those sort of curved swords, didn't they? Cheers, Iron Man. Some of them are more sharp than others. Mike, when I visited him, sharpened up the falchion and the katana. But yeah, it really depends on the sword, because no, I've never played Soul Calibur. It's a Japanese game, isn't it? But I know what sort of thing it is, but I've never actually played it. Yeah. Especially, Richard, like you were showing with that video where you essentially had a blunt sort of knife that could cut stuff in half. So yeah, Con, the ROC posts were just literally to monitor the amount of bombs going off. They would protect the person inside, but they didn't give them supplies long enough to stay in there. No hype. My friend Bart has one he bought years ago, which is kind of like a Mongol-style horsebow, and that's pretty accurate. You know, it's not a particularly heavy draw one, but it was designed to be one of those, you know, quite quick to shoot sort of horsebow type ones. But no, all the ones I've got are more like modern sporting type bows, just because they're a lot more practical. Normally Iron Man Monday to Thursday, sometimes Sunday, but not necessarily every day. No, I've seen that they're very expensive, White Wolf, and I would never pay that for a sword. And the problem is, even a lot of people who seem to know a lot about swords seem to still go Albion are a bit overpriced, you know. They're probably very good swords, but I hope that's all good, Connor. I've got a repro of one of those Punch Monster, but I've not got it in this room, otherwise I'd show it now. But you'd need a Ghost filter for it, Redhead. But that's a really cool Punch Monster, especially if, you know, it's a nice old antique that's still in good condition. That's pretty good price for them. But yeah, I think they're nice looking bows. I want to get White Wolf some sort of cutlass at some point, because I've not actually got any cutlasses. You know, I'd like to get sort of, you know, swords from different kind of trees of swords, if that makes sense. You know, like where I've got a saber, I've got, you know, like an arming sword, a katana. So I definitely want to get a cutlass at some point, but there's not many models in stock at the moment, because most sword suppliers just don't have stock in, and they're not getting any back in because of all the Corona stuff. Just bear in mind, Red Ed, the adapters aren't all that necessarily good. But yeah, you could get an adapter, but at least you got a profit for it, I guess, Philip. Well, that's, in your opinion, Stealth Jays, not a good stream time for you, not for necessarily other people. But no matter what time I stream during the day, there'll always be somebody who says, oh, this is a bad time for me to watch it. This is a Ghost filter, but I don't know how easily you can find these for sale anywhere. It's probably not going to focus on that with the lighting as it is, but yeah, if you see that Ghost 40x4. Yeah, but again, not all of these AVEC filters are GOST. Some are NATO, some are GOST. Isn't that the Czechoslovakian Cold War filter, mine buzz? So probably like 1970s or so. Yeah, Iron Man, sort of an interesting idea. I won't entertain it right now, but yeah, it would be a weird thing, wouldn't it? A time capsule. Not at the moment. No drink there at the moment. I'm gonna have a shower as soon as the stream ends, and I'll probably have a cold beer as soon as I've had a shower. Not sure exactly what you mean by that, distinct mods. Are you on about the guard or what? Yep, I've lived in the UK all my life. I've obviously been on holiday to other countries, but I've never like lived in another country. It really depends, Arthur. It's one of those things on eBay, they tend to be quite expensive. If you go into a junk shop and they happen to have them in there, because, you know, old helmets and stuff like that do turn up in junk shops. If you have a junk shop, you know, I know they're kind of a dying out thing. You could often get them for like 20 to 30 quid in there. It will just be some Fosters later, Iron Man, when I have some. But at the moment, no beer, because I said I'm having a shower as soon as I do the stream. Now, people do 3D printed adapters, BC, but the issue is with 3D printed adapters is that they're apparently not like fully airtight or something. I mean, I'm sure you can get around that by probably coating the outside of it in some sort of like resin or glue or whatever. That's all right, Haiku or Hiku. You know, it's nice to recommend channels that make good content. Oh, that's cool. So what's that, South African? Sadly, no. I'd like to go to America. It's just I've never been. Yeah, the Outridge one I like, but I'll have to be careful, White Wolf, because we'd have to definitely say it's definitely for you know, a shit hit the fan type scenario. You know, because I'm sure people go, "Oh no, you're saying you're going to use it in a violent act against people." But yeah, the Outridge machete is pretty good for what it was. It's a shame blades and bows are closed down now because they were quite cheap on blades and bows, like the Outridge Parang, is it called? I've got actually on that wall over there. It's not the easiest thing to get down. No, never watched History Secrets. In the UK, it is 20 past 6. I might finish this stream about 1:45 today. Oh, thank you very much, Ninos. I appreciate that. But yeah, I might finish this stream about 1:45 or something, you know, do another sort of 15 minutes or so, 17 minutes. Because just because it's quite warm and sort of yeah, if I went to the US, I'd love to go to Canada as well, T-Bill. The most recent series I binged watched was actually one about dictators. And I made Mike laugh the other day because I called it the world's worst dickheads. I can't remember what the actual name of it was. But, you know, it was about like Hitler and Stalin and all those. But I had a few of the more obscure dictators on it, which was the more interesting ones like Papadoc and ones like that. No, that's all right, White Wolf. Yeah, I like snow. I'm going to have to actually look up which state CO is now, because I don't know without looking it up. Colorado. But yeah, there's I like so I prefer cold weather to warm weather. Yeah, I've had a good day, Henry. Thank you. Aren't there several things called like World War II in color or World War II colorized? Because I watched one that was actually quite badly put together, so I reckon somebody had done, like, you know, some company had done it to try and cash in on the other series. No, YouTube won't let you put a link in. Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, there's lots of stuff like that that's good fun, isn't there? But like, so I've been to lots of European places just to see the sort of 20th century history of them, you know, like either the World War II stuff or the communist period stuff. Yeah, I'm good, Henry. Thank you. Yeah, in theory, White Wolf, if you got a visor that used the same mounts as it, you could put a custom visor on it, because I had to fit the visor anyway. So yeah, you could obviously put a custom visor on if you had one that was, cut to the same shape, because essentially all it is stuff underneath the visor. You put the visor on, then you put some like screw and washer type things to keep the visor on there. Probably prog rock and Mori Samurai. I definitely think I'm gonna have to crack the air conditioning out soon, because it is getting to that really hot sort of sticky sort of weather, which I really don't like. All right, cool. I have to look into that. I mean, if I go to America, I have no idea which states I'd be going to at this stage, just because it's obviously a very big place, isn't it? The US. Um, yeah. What was the Never mind. I lost my trail of thought. Ninos says experts say it will be war US China in October. I don't know if there'd be a proper war. I think there'd be a lot of like sanction type of stuff and like proxy stuff. But I doubt there'd be a war between two superpowers. I'd assume that would be the probably. Is it got a white sticker on it, Nash? Because I think with the Israeli ones, the only way to know the expiry date was with the white sticker they put on the side. But yeah, if that's that, I'm pretty sure that's the expiry. But you can still use it because particle filters don't really expire. Oh yeah, Arnold, that makes it just really difficult to sleep, doesn't it? All right, cheers, hype. Yeah, see, I'm not going to be on too much longer on this stream anyway. Just another 10 to 15 minutes, just because like I said, it's quite warm here anyway. Yeah, I think, is it Colorado where you've actually got the highest level of background radiation in the US, apart from some of the test sites? Because the higher altitude of Colorado means you get more gamma rays from the sun. Which particular model of cold steel sword, White Wolf? The thing with cold steel swords is I definitely read a lot of reviews on a particular sword you look into. Because from what I understand with a lot of the cold steel sword stuff, some of their swords are meant to be very good, for the price, and others are meant to be just, like way too expensive, but all right, and others are meant to be a bit crap. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that's put me off, spending like 300 odd quid on some of the cold steel swords, is how mixed a lot of the reviews were, with bits, that came damaged on them, or like bits that came loose or broke really easily. No, I've not bought myself a Claymore. Everybody keeps asking me that on this stream for some reason. Well, I'm sure going to America and not going to Texas, there'd be something wrong with me if I didn't go to Texas, because that's kind of like the most America bit of America, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, Washington State's really nice for that, isn't it, Redhead? Like in the Northwest, because that's sort of, I suppose, quite similar terrain to Canada. I have a feeling, White Wolf, the Gross Messer was one that Richard was saying on one of the chats that he heard it wasn't very good. Don't have any heart problems. I have asthma, but I've never found like mountains or anything have caused me any issues with my asthma. It depends. If you mean the proper insert glasses, no, NRE, because the proper insert glasses are attached to the mask and don't even touch your face. No, I think the chat's frozen. Oh, there we go. It's moving again. I don't think I've seen him comment on a video in ages, Sevenessy. Yeah, I suppose mining areas are going to kick up dust, aren't they? But yeah, I think in the UK at least, they're saying about the 1st of next month might be when some lockdown restrictions get eased again. And then I think they were saying July or end of July for then some more restrictions to be lifted. It was an interesting picture, Aldi. I'm glad though that you like drawing it. I thought you made me look a bit Arabian in that picture, but I don't mind. But yeah, I've got night vision. There's a bit on the helmet back there, but you can't see it because it's under a box there. But night vision now. I've got some other night vision bits around, but I've not got anything really, really impressive. The night vision on that helmet's the Pulsar, and that's a very good Gen 1 unit, but I've not got any like Gen 2 or Gen 2 Plus units. Yeah, well, the point is, though, natural radiation, like I was saying, that the test sites obviously have much higher background levels than everywhere else. But the point is, for example, with like higher altitude is always higher in background radiation. It's like if you're in a plane, why it's over 1 microsievert per hour. Okay, Ante, I have no opinion on that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Missed 36 minutes, Mike, but it's all right. You haven't really missed much, in all honesty. We were talking a bit about the swords, and people went on about gas masks, and then about states in America. Yeah, I imagine you can get like sinkholes, can't you, open up with that if you have tunnels, sort of like that underground, where it will just cause stuff to collapse into it. You can get good masks on eBay in theory if somebody's selling one that's in good condition for a price you want to pay for it. But sadly, most manufacturers won't sell directly to you. I already answered that, Rose and Tyler. The answer was yes. If you search my channel for it, you can find lots of old videos on it. I already answered you, 7SE. Why are so many people asking me questions and not bothering to listen to me answer? The answer was, I've not seen Callum's Corner comment on here in absolutely ages, 7SE, but if he said hello, I'd say hello back to him. But I've, you know, there's loads of, like I was saying, there's loads of channels where now and again they sometimes come on and chat quite a bit with people and then don't for a while. Yeah, and granite, of course, like Cornwall, you get a lot of radiation there, don't you, from stuff in it. Yeah, I've seen Texas Chainsaw and Texas Chainsaw 2 and 3 and 4. Is 3 the one with Matthew McConaughey in, or was that 4? I can't remember. But yeah, I've watched most of the Texas Chainsaw films. I mean, obviously only the first Texas Chainsaw is really a proper horror, isn't it? And then Texas Chainsaw 2 is a comedy. And then 3 and 4 are just, you know. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be really hot in a steel mill, yeah. Yeah, that's not good then, Rich, is it? Especially for the price, especially like, you know, when we were saying about I actually not got the windlass saber behind me, but yeah, like that windlass saber I've got, that's, you know, not bad for heat treatment and all that, and that's you know, like half the price of a cold steel equivalent sword. Yeah, I mean the cold, I keep want to call it gold steel, but yeah, the cold steel gladius is all right. It's obviously a machete, isn't it, rather than a proper sword, but for what it is, it's fine. There's lots of those kind of weird machete sword hybrids that are completely fine if you just want something that, you know, is just kind of a sword shaped blade, but a bit lighter and whatever, because it's a machete. The chat's doing a weird thing tonight, where a comment loads, but it seems to take a while. I already replied, Audi. There's loads of questions where people ask me, and I replied. I said I liked it. It was an interesting thing, although you made me look a bit Arabic, I thought, in the picture. Or maybe like a bit Egyptian, That's sort of good, Redhead. Alaska would be really cool to visit as well. Because, I did Finland and Norway, and that was during the summer, where it was permanent sunlight, not permanent night. But yeah, I went for a long walk earlier when it was quite hot. I suppose, in all honesty, it's better to go on a walk, like later on in the evening, because then the sun's at a lower angle and it's not as hot. But yeah, when I went for a walk, that was probably 20-30 minute walk, although I did quite a fast pace. Right, let me search it. Distinct mods. Well, I've already said to you, as far as I know, Keaton, I think it is mostly just a grounding issue, but I'm not really an electrician, Oh, it's like a basket hilt on a It's a basket hilt. That's the name of the guard. Is like a basket hilt. The sword, though, is like more like an arming sword blade, isn't it, or like a long sword blade? So yeah, but other than electrical tape, I can't really tell you much that I could advise, Keegan. Oh, and the stream's really lagging now. Brilliant. Whether or not the browser's frozen, I don't know. There we go. But yeah, like like I was saying with basket hilts, is it's like these kind of things. It's like a more ornate one of those, isn't it? But yeah, basket hilts are the name of like the hand guards that look like that. There's also radium springs somewhere, isn't there? Which is kind of funny because of the radiation stuff. But yeah, I find a lot of that stuff all interesting. Hello, Kyle. You're right. I keep forgetting that when you put that on a cardboard box, it will just literally tear the cardboard apart. I just find it interesting, Chuck and Norris. There's no particular reason. I just think it's cool stuff. It's like I don't think most people that like certain genres of music or whatever can tell you why they like those genres. They just like it. Not loads, Mike. As I said, it was just various questions being asked about the swords and then whatever else. The only annoying thing this stream, it's definitely been one of those streams where I keep getting asked the same questions over and over. Yeah, that was crazy. They were on about that all on the thing today, but yeah, it was like the first people to go to the beach, obviously with social distancing, but then more and more people turned up, and then there was no social distancing. But, nothing I can say about that. So I assume you can do that thing of jumping in hot water and then jumping into the cold water. Oh yeah, Redhead. If unless you desperately need one, you're going to get ripped off price-wise if you're buying gas masks at the moment, just because of all the stupid shit with the prices of them. Yeah, I'll be off in a few minutes anyway. As I said, I'm not going to do a full hour tonight just because it's quite hot and sort of, sticky, and I kind of just want to get have a shower and get into completely fresh clothes. Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I already did, and I already gave you an answer, Distinct Mods. I'm getting very annoyed this stream at how many times I'm having to repeat myself. As I said, it's a basket hilt, like the one on the rapier I was showing you. The sword blade itself seems more like an arming sword blade. Oh, what was that like a cargo container punch monster, but like an actual Faraday cage one? Because surely it would just be cheaper, wouldn't it, to buy a cargo container and do the rest of it yourself? Uh, if they're Australian, though, that'd be a bit of an issue buying stuff and getting it here, wouldn't it? But Alexander Klimanov says, "Are you the gas mask man?" Yes, I assume so. I think BioNerd's probably still alive. Yeah, I've heard it the other way around as well, Miss Valadez, where people also say, Australia is like the British equivalent of Texas. Not that Australians like a British anymore, because it's a former colony. But if you think back, it was like if you had a British colony that had like people that acted like it was Texas. I've got live chat on, Mike. The falchion's my favourite sword, but that's just because it was like the custom done one for me. So yeah, the falchion's my favourite sword. Distinct mods, you are going to get a block in a minute if you constantly ask the question I've answered several times for you and you don't bother listening to the answer. All of the windless steelcraft stuff I've had has been absolutely fine. Yeah, as I said, I'll be off in a minute. I think there's definitely been some issue today in terms of, either loads of people not hearing me answer a question, because the amount of people that I've answered like 3 times and I keep asking the question. I'm sure I'll visit Croatia at some point. But yeah, I probably do like Serbia, Croatia, and all that at the same time. But yeah, saying that, it's really lagging actually, the stream chat on my end. If I try and click on a comment or whatever, it's really, really slow there. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to end the stream now because, yeah, there definitely does seem to be something up with the chat in terms of it either being really slow. Yeah, thanks everybody that was on, and thank you. Was it Ninos that sent a donation? And I answered it like 5 times, Distinct Mods, but you finally heard my answer, did you? Good. Because, like I was saying, but the annoying thing is I've had to answer people like 5 times in a row for like every time somebody asked the question. But yeah, anyway, I'll be off. See you all. Don't know if I'll bother streaming tomorrow or not. I'll see. But wait, it's Friday today, isn't it? Like, is it Friday today or is it Thursday today? No, so today's Thursday. So tomorrow's Friday. Right, I might stream tomorrow. I might not. Don't know yet. I'll let people know when I know, but I don't actually know yet.